Hello, family.
Hey.
It's your girl, Robin.
And Saeed.
And we are back. It's been a minute, but we're back. We're kicking off a new series. We're so excited. This summer, we get to go on a family cruise. We are doing a Carnival cruise with our family to celebrate all of our 2025 graduates. So as we help our family get prepared for the Carnival cruise, we wanted to share the information with all of you too, so that you could be prepared for your upcoming Carnival cruise. So today with our video, we're going to talk about what you need before your Carnival cruise. And especially if you're a first-time cruiser, this is going to be a must-have checklist. And this is going to help you just avoid those last-minute surprises and make sure that you are fully prepared before your exciting embarkation day. So, do you think you're ready for your Carnival cruise? Not so fast. Here's what you need to do before you board, or if you want to risk delays, stress, or even getting denied at the port. Can you imagine planning all this time, spending all this money just to get to the port and they're like, no, we don't want that to happen to you. So we definitely want to make sure that we give you the inside tips. But make sure before we start, if you haven't done so already, make sure you like this video and subscribe to our channel for this and more tips about your upcoming Carnival cruise. So babe, let's kick us off. What's the first thing they should do to avoid that check-in chaos and to make sure they're ready for their Carnival cruise?
Well, we are glad that you asked. So first off, again, and welcome. To get started, the first thing you want to do, and most cruise lines are shifting to this, so Carnival's no different, is download the app, Carnival Hub. It really will be your primary source of information, both prepping up to the time of the cruise, and then while you're on board, there will be a lot of good information that it will provide. But you need it primarily when we talk about getting ready for the cruise for three things. One, you need to check in. So Carnival does let you pick a check-in time once the check-in time period goes live. So the app will help facilitate that. You'll choose again the arrival time to pick when you should be available to embark, and then see your itinerary. So if you want to just be able to keep track day to day of where you'll be, what's the next port, all of those things, then the Hub app will allow for you to do all of that. And then in addition to that, it also will let you access your Sail and Sign account, and we'll talk a little bit more about that. But just at a high level, that is the account that you utilize on the ship to make all your purchases, food, drinks, souvenirs, anything that requires a charge that you need to pay for on the ship is through your Sign and Sail account. And that account basically is linked to a credit or debit card that you picked, beforehand. And so the Hub app will also allow for you to access that information so you can keep track of your charges and things on the trip. So number one, download the Hub app.
Yeah.
Get registered, get signed in, and that'll be your first step towards Carnival greatness.
And another pro tip about the Hub app, if you're going with a big group like we're going with this summer and you won't need to find a way to communicate on board, you can pay an additional, in 2025 right now, the cost is $5 per person, and there is a messaging feature you can use in the Hub app if you need a way to communicate with your large group. So that's another use for the Hub app. The next thing, this is like one of the most important things, because this can, if you don't have this right, you might not be able to go on your trip. And we don't want that for you, okay? Not at all. So you want to make sure you have all of your documents in place, and make sure they're valid, and make sure you have the right version of them. So the preferred document that you want to have is a passport. It's preferred because that's going to get you, if anything goes wrong on the trip, the passport is going to make it easier for you to, say for instance, you get left behind by accident, or an emergency comes up and you need to go back home. Having a U.S. valid passport is going to make it easiest for you to get home to fly from another country. So the thing about your passport, you make sure you have the actual passport. It cannot be a copy, cannot be a digital copy. It has to be the actual physical passport. And you want to make sure that you check the date. Now, you might have it tucked away and you're like, yeah, I have a passport, I'm good. Make sure it has not expired. And not only make sure, not that it hasn't expired, but also make sure that it is valid at least 6 months after your travel has been completed. Right. Now, we all know there's like a long backlog for passports now. So do that as soon as possible so that you can make sure that you can get it back in advance if you need to get an updated version. Do not do this a week before. Now, what Carnival does allow for closed looped cruises, and that means that you start and end at the same port, the same United States port. It does allow you to travel with an original birth certificate and a government issued photo ID. You're living a little bit on the edge if you do this, but it can be done. It is available. Make sure when you bring your birth certificate, it is not like the ceremonial birth certificate they give you at the hospital. It has to be the official with the raised seal from the government office. It can't be the little cute one with your little feet marks on it. It has to be the actual government issued birth certificate and a government issued photo ID. So that could be a license. If you are between the ages of 16 and 18, a school ID will work. Below 16, you only have to have the birth certificate. Right. Also, if you are traveling with minors and both parents are not traveling, there are some additional things you need to consider. So if one parent, if there's joint custody or one custodial parent is not traveling, it'll be good for you to have some type of letter, sign, and probably even notarized from the other parents saying that you have permission to take them out of the country. But the main thing is that you have your IDs. If you do not have it, you are not getting on that boat. Right. And that's going to be the most devastating thing, and I don't want that to happen for you. So make sure you have your valid U.S. passport that is preferred, or you have the right version of your birth certificate, as well as a government-issued photo ID, which for most people would be your driver's license. And it needs to be valid.
Right, right. Don't be sad at the port. Don't be sad. Number 3, check-in. We touched on this in point 1. But once the online check-in process becomes available, and generally for Carnival, it could be anywhere from 14 to 30 days, depending on the sailing, but generally at least 14 days minimum, it goes live. And so again, like we stated, that's when you can go into the app and start filling out your information and making, confirming everything. So again, this will allow for you to pick your arrival time, meaning that this is the date, the time, not the date, but the time on the date that your ship leaves that you can check in at the port. So for example, the cruise that we're taking, the ship is leaving at roughly about 3:30 p.m. And so from what we've seen, the earliest check-in time, Joni, is about 10 a.m. And normally for most Carnivals, the earlier ones go first because people want to maximize their time on the boat. And you generally have to be checked in most cruise lines. The Carnival is no different, at least an hour. Some even have it more, but at least an hour before the cruise is leaving. So in that example, that would be roughly about, say, 2:30 p.m. So when you log in, it'll give you the list of times that are available. Pick one that's going to be convenient for your travel plans. But make sure that you pick one, and then make sure that you show up. Also, it'll allow for you to upload your documents. So the online check-in process, so your copy of your passport and the other documentation that will be required, you can do that at that point. And then last but not least, it will allow for you to print your boarding pass and your luggage tags. If you have not already gotten the luggage tags through another means from the cruise line, this would be your opportunity to print that out and get those ultimately attached to your bag. So when you arrive, they'll ultimately wind up at your room and not someone else's.
Right. And a couple of things, just because you upload your documents here doesn't mean that you're not supposed to bring them. You're still supposed to bring them with you. That's just kind of like the pre-process, but you still have to bring them with you. Also, the other couple things I want to say about that, sometimes it's easier to do it on your phone rather than the app, especially if you got a little older eyes or not able to, the website does kind of work better for the check-in process. So I would recommend that rather than the app. And if you really want to get an early time, those go by so quick. You might want to determine whenever your cruise opens up that option to check in. You might want to set an alarm to go off right at midnight. So that you can get first dibs on especially if you have a preference on arrival time.
Right.
So,
but again, the earlier ones do tend to get taken up first. So to Robin's point, just put a mechanism in place if you want to get on there as early as possible.
Yeah. The next thing you want to make sure you do is set up your Sail and Sign account. Just like Saeed mentioned earlier, this is where you need to go and you need to add a debit or credit card. You can also set up a cash account as well, but this will be your currency while you're on the boat, right? So you're not going to be carrying around cash with you or carrying around a card. Everything will go on that your Sail and Sign card or your account. You'll pay for everything like your drinks, any onboard shopping, any excursions you purchase through the ship. All of that will come from there. So you want to make sure that you have that set up before you go.
Right.
And also check to make sure that the expiration date is beyond the trip. So if you have a card coming up, the expiration date is soon, you might want to wait until you get the new version or put another card on there.
And one thing too, before we move to the next thing, a pro tip on the Sail and Sign account: if particularly you're interested in using a debit card, do understand that the cruise line does put holds on your account as you navigate through the trip. So if you have a credit card, that might be preferred, just because credit cards, generally speaking, don't tie up your money in that way, if you will. But if you're going to use a debit card, then just be mindful that they will put periodic holds over the course of the trip. And so, you just got to understand that will be against, your bank account balance and things. So we keep that in mind. Now, speaking of cards and paying and getting there, plan your transportation to the port. So most people are arriving at a port either by driving or maybe flying, depending again on where you're coming from. So if you're driving, most ports have parking decks or parking lots that are available and that are designed particularly for the cruisers. So first thing you probably want to do, figure out what port you're leaving from, if for some reason you don't already know, and then check that port's parking rules and costs and things. And generally, from a parking perspective, how they do it is you normally will pay for parking based on the duration of your trip. So for example, if you're going on a 5-day cruise, and let's say parking is $20 a day, for example, when you come, you're going to pay for that full $100. You're going to pay for the full time of the cruise. So that's how that works. So double check there.
And most of that can be done in advance.
Right.
And it's better to do it in advance so you make sure that you have
a spot. And you even may be able to get a little bit of a discount if you do it ahead of time. Now,
one other thing, if you wait to the day of, check to see what method of payment they take. Some ports don't take cash while others do. So you don't want to some might only take cash. So you want to make sure you check the day. If you're waiting to the day of to pay, check and see what methods of payment they accept.
Right. And then speaking of arrival as well, if you're flying, the number one rule that you generally will hear most people on cruise or on channels, on the interwebs, wherever you are, is you want to try to get there the day before if you can help it.
At least.
Anything can happen. And then just with flying in general, delays, cancellations, weather, all of those things can trip you up. And the last thing that you want, like we said earlier, is to be sad the day of the cruise because you didn't get there. Because your flight got canceled, delayed, rerouted, whatever it may be. Yeah. So,
and if you're happening to if you're leaving from an international port, we recommend going 2 days before. Because a lot of time international flights, it might be only 1 or 2 a day. So if you miss one or something happens, you miss a connection, typically you have to wait a whole nother day.
Right.
So,
and then depending on when they're leaving, particularly if they leave, say, in the evening, I mean, it's just
so many things.
Variables. So
I will say one thing. This is a shameless plug. We just recently went on a trip to Virgin Voyages and we went against our advice and we flew in on the morning of So I want to link the video here so you can go back and look when we look at our embarkation day and see what happened when we flew in the morning of.
Right.
That's just a side commercial. Okay?
So if you can help it, get there the day before.
Yes, it'll relieve a lot of stress and make your first day of your vacation just more pleasurable. The next thing is look at the packing rules. There are things that you cannot take on a cruise. Some things they'll just confiscate and they'll hold for you maybe till you come back. Some things can get you kicked off the ship. So make sure that you don't do things. For example, things like weapons and drugs.
Smuggling alcohol even.
Smuggling alcohol. Those things can get you kicked off and banned for life. And one just quick plug, we're going to do a whole video about things you should pack. But one thing I want to make sure that you know, one thing you should not pack. I know in the United States, a lot of states are legalizing marijuana and marijuana products, but Carnival still operates under the federal law that does not allow any kind of marijuana products, anything that you smoke, anything that you eat, anything that you chew, any of that. And they have dogs and other ways to sniff and find out, and they can get you kicked off and banned. So sorry, y'all. Y'all gonna have to find another way
to enjoy yourself.
To enjoy yourself.
If that's
your method.
If that's your method.
Don't do it on a cruise. That's you live in real life, really on the edge. Okay.
Right.
But make sure that you pack your essentials. So you have, a carry-on that you'll bring on, and then typically you'll be able to, if you get there early enough, you can give your larger luggage to your to the porter, and they'll take it to your room. But once you get on a Carnival cruise, your room is not going to be ready immediately. So in your carry-on, make sure that you have any meds that you need to take, all of your documents. You would hate to have your documents in your large checked luggage, and now you can't check in to get there, to get your luggage. So there are people who have missed their cruise because they had their documents, but they were in the wrong suitcase. Don't let that be you, y'all.
Right.
Keep the documents on your person at all times. Any kind of, like I said, medicine. Also, most cruise lines, including Carnival, allow you to bring one 750 milliliter bottle of wine, which is a regular wine size bottle, but it has to be on you. And then also, you want to start your vacation as soon as you get on board. So bring that swimsuit so you can go change and go straight to the pool area, or just a change of clothes if you want to be more comfortable while you're on the cruise until your room is ready. So those are things that can be in your carry-on.
Now, speaking of things that are essential, order those items early. So do an inventory of the stuff that you think you'll need on the boat. And go online and find those things. Magnetic hooks, motion sickness meds, travel size items, body wash or deodorant, things of that nature, lotion, lanyards. I mean, anything that you think will help make your cruise efficient, enjoyable, and lessen stress. Inventory those, get a list of what you think you might need, and then go ahead and order that stuff early. Because the last thing you want to have...
Or pick it up from your local store.
Right. Because the last thing you want to do is be on the boat and realize you need something, because the boat may have it, but it may cost a pretty penny.
You're going to pay for it.
Premium. That cruise inflation is a beast.
It's serious.
So make sure that you grab those things. And you can order the stuff, on Amazon or other retailers. But again, main thing there is don't wait till the last minute. The cruise is leaving on Monday and it's Saturday afternoon, and you're just now figuring out what you want. Right. Don't be that person. Do a little take a little time beforehand, figure out that list, and you'll be good to go.
And if you're not sure of what things you need to pack, we are going to do another video telling you what things you should pack and what things you should not pack. So make sure you watch that so you'll be ready and you'll be set to go for your Carnival cruise. All right, the next thing is you're on vacation, so you might want to wine and dine yourself a little bit. So go ahead and reserve any specialty dining or spa appointments that you might want to have. So most of those things you can book through the app or on the website pre-cruise. And there are advantages to booking those pre-cruise. You do have the option to book those on the cruise, but a lot of times you can get, as far as spa services, you can get it for a cheaper rate or specials if you do it pre-cruise. And then for specialty dining, typically you can get a better more availability is there before the cruise. You can choose when you want to do it. So typically on Carnival Cruise Lines, you have a main dining room where you can go every day, but there's typically, most ships have other specialty dining, which are other restaurants that are featured. It could be like the steakhouse, or other restaurants that you actually have to pay an additional fee and have to have a reservation. So if that's what you want to do, you want to have a little elevated experience, plan ahead, and that way you can make sure you get the restaurant you want on the evening you want, and go ahead and think about those spa appointments as well. The steakhouse and the spa, the spa day, especially on sea days, they fill up very quickly, the spa treatment. So if you want to do something special on a sea day, make sure that you go ahead and book that early.
Speaking also of booking stuff early, excursions, stuff you might want to do off the ship, and whether you're going to do it through Carnival directly or if there's a third-party vendor, for example, Viator, which we'll put our link in there for those who might want to utilize Viator as well.
We use Viator a lot.
But in either case, whoever you're booking the excursion with, do a little research and figure out what ones you might want to take advantage of and book those early. Again, much like with the spa treatments and the restaurants, your options will be more plentiful early. And pricing generally also is a little more advantageous the earlier, the further ahead that you're able to lock in some of those opportunities. So take a look, see what days you, particularly the days that you're in port, figure out where you want to go or the things that you want to do, see what's available. And like I said, you can either do it through the ship or through a third-party vendor. Now, the one pro tip here is with shore excursions particularly, generally speaking, if you book it through the ship, so through Carnival in this case, if something occurs on the excursion that delays you, you're running late, whatever, 99% of the time the ship will wait for you because of the fact that it's their excursion. With a third party, they are not guaranteed to wait for you. And so Viator, giving a shameless plug for them, one of the things that they have done recently is they have put in new policies around excursions that they set up that they ensure will get you back to the ship in time, or they then will take the onus to make sure that you either get to the next port or back home, even if it's the last one. So there is some protection that Viator, for example, does provide now on some of their excursions. But in general, if there is an issue with timing, if you book it through the cruise line, they will wait for you. Third parties, they will not.
You don't want to be one of those pier runners that's
Right,
hustling down, and everybody's like, wait, yeah. But that's, if you do third party, you want to make sure that you're using reputable sources, and Viator does help kind of vet those out. And like you said, it has the worry-free option. And now a new feature that they have too is that you can pull the excursions up based on your ship. So you can go and say, we're going to be on the Carnival Paradise. You can say, I'm going on the Carnival Paradise on this particular week, and it will show you all of the excursions that match
based on their itinerary.
So that's very convenient as well. And we will link that for you too. The next thing is add travel insurance or the Carnival Vacation Protection. You want to protect your investment. We all know that life happens. You have the best intentions, but things come up that we can't control. You can have things, emergencies come up. You can have illnesses or trip interruption. Even like we talked about, if your flight gets delayed and you have to stay in a hotel, so many things can happen. So you want to make sure that you get travel insurance or vacation protection. And also, most travel insurance and Carnival vacation protection goes beyond just making sure, like, if you have to cancel the trip. But if you're on the trip and you have a medical emergency, most of the time when you go to the onboard medical facilities, it's not covered in your regular insurance. And you can get a bill for thousands and thousands of dollars after that. You don't want to ruin your vacation that way. So being able to have the protection plan will help make sure it covers at least a portion of those costs. So Carnival's plan is about $109 per person, and it can be added up until your final payment. But you also can choose a third party of insurance as well. Once again, just do your research and make sure it's a reputable resource. If you're working with the travel agent, they can assist you with that as well.
And so before we close, again, a couple of additional tips that we want to share. as you're getting ready for your cruise, if you want to just get connected with other folks who will be cruising with you, or just find out maybe other little tips and tricks for that particular cruise line or that ship particularly, go on Facebook, go on Instagram, join a group that maybe is taking that particular ship. And you even have groups who are set up for that specific sailing that you might be taking. And
Carnival ships are really good for that. Almost every sailing, you'll see a person has started
a Facebook group for that particular week or however long. So take advantage of that. Again, make sure that all your documents are in one place. We generally recommend that you have it in some type of book or folder, so that you can quickly access that information, right? Because again, the last thing you want to be is standing at the counter or standing wherever, and they're asking for these documents, and now you're scrambling trying to figure out where all this stuff is. So take a few minutes. That few minutes you take before the cruise could be a game changer later.
Could save you a lot of heartache.
Organize it there. And then Rob mentioned earlier, have a little bag for your cruise essentials, particularly on the first day, and embarkation day. For your meds, your change of clothes, your swimsuit, your documents. Put a little bag together, have that with you as you carry on. You can even hold, if possible, if you're bringing beverages, allowed beverages on the cruise. Remember, it has to be in your carry-on, it can't be in your checked luggage. So you can put a little bag together with all that stuff, and that'll be with you. So again, that you can quickly access those things on the first day of the cruise, particularly while you're waiting for your room to be ready to go.
Yes, so we've given you our list of things that we hope that will help you get ready for your first Carnival cruise or your next Carnival cruise. Maybe it's been a while, you need a refresher. But let us know down in the comments, did we miss anything? If you've been on a cruise recently, what's one thing that you almost forgot before your cruise? Let us know what happened there. And if this video has helped you, make sure you go ahead and hit that like button and check out our other Carnival cruise prep videos, including what not to pack, and also what to pack on your Carnival cruise. Thank you so much. We hope that you have fun on your next cruise. We're excited about ours.
It's summertime now, so hey, get ready, get excited. But whatever time of year you're cruising, enjoy it, be excited, because this could be a lifetime memory that you'll have.
Yes, so enjoy cruising. Peace.